What is the Tangzhong method? The Tangzhong method is an Asian technique for making yeast-leavened baked goods characterized by a highly resilient and fresh crumb and subsequently a slower staling rate. Also known as water roux, Tangzhong, or just Tangzhong, the method consists of pre-mixing and cooking part of the flour and the liquid, water or milk, of a bread formulation until obtaining a porridge or pre-cooked starch gel. This gel is then used to improve the crumb texture of sliced bread, milk rolls, butter rolls, Swiss rolls, and many more. Where does it come from? Many may agree that the Tangzhong method for making bread was the result of a post-war cultural exchange between European, especially French cooks, and Japanese bakers in the Hokkaido region. Others consider the Tangzhong method closely resembles the scalding or blanching of certain cereal flours as processed in Europe. How does it work? From a technical point of view, the Tangzhong method is all about pre-gelatinizing the starch content of wheat or any other cereal flour used in a bread recipe. Doughs made with the starch pre-cook require more water to obtain standard dough consistency. This is due to swollen starch granules being able to hold much more water than native starch counterparts. Therefore, bread formulas containing the Tangzhong pre-cook result in much higher hydration levels, even using white or patent flours. Pre-gelatinized flour directly affects dough rheology by increasing dough strength, expressed as alveograph W values. It also enhances finished bread volume, whose crumb exhibits a much slower staling rate. Similar to gums, the starch pre-gel contributes to texture and moisture management in the finished product. Application. The Tangzhong method is widely used in the production of Asian breads. One example is the Japanese, Hokkaido, milk bread. Here is an example of the typical formulation of Hokkaido milk bread. Pre-cook phase, 500% hydration. Bread flour 6.25%. Water, 80 degrees Celsius, 31.25%. Total 37.5%. Dough phase, 75% hydration, global. Bread flour 93.75%. Cold pasteurized milk 43%. Granulated sugar 12%. Cold liquid whole eggs 8%. Unsalted melted butter 8%. Salt 2%. Instant dry yeast 1.6%. Pre-cook, cold 37.5%. Total 205.35%. Processing. These are the steps of the Tangzhong method. Pre-cook preparation. Incorporate the flour and water together, mix and heat at a temperature of 176 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius until a viscous, paste-like porridge is formed. If properly heated, at medium or low fire, the hot paste or pre-cook is obtained within 2 to 5 minutes. Care must be exercised not to burn or overcook the flour/water paste. Pre-cook cooling. Transfer the pre-cook to a container and store at refrigeration temperature until used in the bread dough formula. Pre-cook must be cold when added to dough to aid in dough temperature control and preserve yeast cells against heat stress. Dough mixing. Incorporate dough ingredients at low speed for 2 minutes. Switch to high speed and continue mixing to full gluten development. This usually takes 15 to 25 minutes at a final dough temperature of 79 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. Milk and eggs must be added at refrigeration temperature. Butter and pre-cook addition is usually delayed for proper gluten development. Intermediate proofing. Allow bulk dough to rest and ferment until doubling its initial size. This usually takes about 1 hour at room conditions. Makeup. This includes punching dough, dividing, rounding, sheeting, curling, and molding. Panning. Hokkaido pan bread usually has a high dough-to-pan ratio, usually higher than 0.28 grams per centimeter cubed. Final proofing. Proof to reach 3/4 full pan height at 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius and 75% relative humidity. This usually takes 45 to 60 minutes. Baking. At sea level, bake the product with or without the lid placed on top at an oven temperature of 392 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes until an internal temperature of 204 degrees Fahrenheit or 95 degrees Celsius is obtained. Bake time is usually longer than open-top bread. Cooling. Remove product from pan and allow it to cool at room conditions to an internal temperature of 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius. Cooling usually takes 60 minutes to reach final temperature. Finally, it's time for packaging or serving. Are you curious to learn more about yeast-leavened breads and the Tangzhong method? Visit BAKERpedia. Learn more about all things baking by signing up for our newsletter. Until next time, bakers. At BAKERpedia, we're here on a need-to-know basis.